Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Get into his house and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. October the 17th, ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes past the top of the hour, joined by my good Ben McKee. How you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling really good. The vibes are great. My New York Yankees are 2 wins away from their first appearance in the World Series since 2009 and play the next 3 evenings, potentially not playing on Saturday if they win the next 2 and go ahead and close this out. So I'm excited about that, anxious about that as well. And then, of course, nothing needs to be said about the third Saturday in October, Swain. My role these days looks a little bit different, but the juices still get flowing during the course of this football week.
There's some good ones this weekend for sure. Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Texas. Very important game for both teams. Wearing orange, wearing crimson. Stats can always be, looked up and analyzed. Sometimes they tell the story. Sometimes they don't tell the story. I think in this case, they tell the story, Ben. If I ask you which stat pops out at you the most or stands out to you the most, and there's not one answer because there's a lot of stats that could play a huge part in this football game between Tennessee and Alabama. But if I ask you, okay, which stat pops out at you, which one would you say?
I would look at Alabama on the defensive side of the football. Their defense is just not the Alabama defense we became accustomed to under Nick Saban. Statistically speaking, they are 13th in the SEC. 13th out of 16 SEC teams, Alabama is defensively. Only LSU, who was awful defensively last year, Florida and Mississippi State are worse defensively from a statistical standpoint. Florida, obviously, it looks like they're about to have a new head coach next year, and Mississippi State is abysmal. They got pounded at home by, who was it, Tulsa, Tulane, one of those random schools that starts with a T. That Alabama defense is just not good right now, and it's very odd to see, allowing 342.5 yards per game. Now in scoring defense, they rank 11th, so slightly better. But Alabama defense ranking 11th out of 16 in scoring defense is not acceptable by Alabama standards. They are allowing 20.8 points per game. So they're very flawed on that side of the football. From the Alabama standpoint, there's been a lot of talk this week. Well, there's been a lot of talk for the last several weeks, but I have seen it more this week because I've been paying more attention, of course, because Tennessee's playing Alabama. But Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator who came over from South Alabama, and how the calls are confusing. What is getting the players in trouble is their eyes being in the wrong places, not understanding what they're supposed to do on any given play. Just a lot of confusion on the defensive side of the football. Malachi Moore, after he got done throwing his temper tantrum on West End, I believe it was last week, going into their game against South Carolina, there was a big storyline about how he apparently went to Kane Womack and asked if they could get the defensive signals called into the game quicker. So I think that's very telling of the state of that Alabama defense, and that's what stands out the most to me, Swain. But it is, and we can have this side conversation later. But it's fascinating to me. Like you look at Tennessee's weakness, and that's the offensive side of the football. Are they going to be able to take advantage of Alabama's weakness, which is the defensive side of the football? You're going to have each team's weakness going up against the other team's weakness. You're going to have each team's strength, Alabama's offense, going up against Tennessee's strength, which is the defense. So which team is able to take more advantage of the other's weakness? Which team is able to have better production against the other team's strength? Because it's going to be strength on strength, and it's going to be weakness on weakness this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit a very, very strong stat there. I think going deeper, like what has led Alabama to being one of the worst defenses in the SEC? What has led Alabama to not look like the same Alabama? What led to them, or what was the cause of them losing to Vanderbilt? Flirting with an L versus South Carolina. Flirting with an L against Georgia in the second half after being up multiple scores in the first half. Taking a deeper dive, Ben, I would tell you that all you have to do is look at their third down conversions on defense. And Vanderbilt was 12 out of 18 on third down. 12 out of 18. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. And time of possession is a stat that can be misleading for sure, because we have seen Tennessee over the last couple of years possess the football a third of the time that their opponents have possessed the football, and they've beaten them by 20 or 30 points. Like, we've seen that. So time of possession it's not always the indicator of who wins and who loses. But there are times when it matters. And in the Alabama-Vanderbilt game, the Alabama-Vanderbilt game, it mattered. Vanderbilt possessed the football, Ben, 42 minutes to Alabama's 18. Why were they able to possess the football for that long? 12 out of 18 on third downs. Vanderbilt was 1 out of 1 on fourth down. So that's 13 out of 19 on third and fourth down. That is insane. That's why Alabama lost the game. That is why. So you go and you look at, all right, what happened in the second half against Georgia? You go look at Georgia in the third quarter. Georgia was 1 for 5 on third down, but 2 for 2 on fourth down. You go look at the fourth quarter of that ball game between Georgia and Alabama. Georgia was 2 for 5 on third down, but 2 out of 2 on fourth down. So there's a pattern. And then you go look at the South Carolina game where they almost lost, didn't play well on defense. South Carolina was 7 for 15, almost 50% on third down. So that's why their defense is not performing like we're used to seeing. And if you are Tennessee's offense, what do you have to do? It's that simple.
Convert on third down. And I think going off of that, the key for Tennessee's offense is to win first down.
That's always the key. To win on third down, it starts with first down. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But it feels even more important in this offense. It feels like.
Yeah, you're right.
Because
of tempo.
Yes, absolutely. But there's also kind of a feeling right now of like unsuccessful first down play. Oh, Lord, here we go again. 3 and out. There's that kind of vibe in the air. Third down is going to be critical in this football game. Now, the question is going to be, is Tennessee going to be able to convert on third down against that Alabama third down defense that has not been very good. Tennessee is converting on third down 44.68% of the time. So round that up, about 45% of the time, Tennessee's converting on third down. That ranks 8th in the league, so middle of the pack there. Are they able to convert? Because again, like it's Alabama's defense has been a weakness. You mentioned the third down rate. They've also been pushed around on the line of scrimmage. That to me was just as significant against Vanderbilt and South Carolina. Vanderbilt dominated the trenches. They dominated South Carolina's defensive front, dominated the trenches. And conversely, on both sides of the football, is Tennessee's offensive line, that obviously has been a hot topic, are they going to be able to hold up? Is the offense as a whole, are they going to have all 11 guys operating as one, to steal a phrase from Josh Heupel, to take advantage of that Alabama third down defense? I'd be lying if I said I had any confidence in Tennessee doing so. But I guess the good news for Tennessee is that Alabama people don't have any confidence in their defense stepping up and beginning to get third down stops. So that's going to be a huge question mark because, again, I don't think there's much confidence on either side of the, ball there from either fan base or people associated with either program that their offense or their defense is going to be able to step up at this point, which is partly why this game the matchups are so fascinating. And then on the other side of the football is Tennessee going to be able to contain and corral Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams on third down. That's going to be critical as well. The Tennessee defense has been outstanding on third down this season. Going into the Florida game, they were first in the country in third down stops.
Third down for what?
Third down for what has been working this year. Going into this game, they are by far first in the SEC. And they are now second in the country to Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois, the only team with a better conversion rate defensively on third down than Tennessee. Tennessee's getting off of, or opponents are only converting 24% of the time against Tennessee. Opponents are 20 for 83 on third down against Tennessee. So third down is going to be a very, very critical piece of this football game.
Jamon McCoy is one of the best cover corners in the country, according to Pro Football Focus. If you go and look at ESPN.com, Chris Lowe put out an article talking about Tim Banks' defense and his road to spearheading one of the most dominating defenses in the country. And it stands out. Like Tim Banks' efforts stand out so much because a lot of defense coordinators shy away from working with an offense like Josh Heupel's. Tim Banks, in the article, said, people told him not to take the job. Don't do it. And earlier in the tenure, we had to come on here multiple times. Y'all tried to fire Tim Banks. And you heard it here. Yo, he's doing more with less. Wait till the guys get better. Wait till he gets more talent. Y'all tried to fire him. And look where we are right now. You look at Jamon McCoy, who brings more to the table because he can return punts. Had a nice punt return against Florida in his first time pulling double duties in a big-time SEC game. He was blown away by the atmosphere, and he's going to be blown away even more this week. But you look at Jamon McCoy, and according to Chris Lowe, ESPN, in this article, fourth highest coverage grade among cornerbacks, according to Pro Football Focus. That's strong. That is strong. He'll have his work cut out for him. Ricky Gibson will have his work cut out for him. This defense will have to play, their best football. No Kenny Peely leading. And so it's going to put pressure on everyone else to stand up. Boo Carter's going to have to follow up a really good performance versus Florida. He'll have to do the same thing against Alabama because Alabama got some dudes on the outside that's pretty good. And you have a quarterback in Jalen Milroe who is the most explosive quarterback in the country. I mean,
certainly with his legs.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he can beat you, like take over a game with his legs, and he can beat you with his arm, he's the most explosive to me. Is he the best passer of the football? No. But he's so dangerous, man, when he gets out in the open field. And everyone knows.
Shedeur?
Huh?
What about Shedeur?
Shedeur's not the runner that Milroe is.
Milroe's not the passer that Shedeur is.
I understand that. But Shedeur's is not scarier than Jalen Milroe to me.
That arm scares me.
Yeah, but Jalen Milroe can beat you with both.
I get you.
Jalen Milroe was outrunning Angles versus Georgia.
Yeah, look, Shedeur's not doing what Milroe did with his legs, like you just said, outrunning Angles.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
against Georgia, but he'll still beat you with his legs. That's not to the extent that Milroe is. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I wish I could take Shedeur's arm and stick it on Milroe.
Yes, but my point was, there's not a quarterback more explosive. So I ain't talking about just as a passer. I'm talking about as a passer and as a runner. The way he ran the football versus Georgia made Georgia players look like they were slow, and only a few dudes in the world can do that.
Yeah, I don't. There's not a player in college football that can do that.
Okay, so that's why I have Jalen Milroe where I have him in terms of how dangerous he is. And
yeah, I'm not disagreeing. Just a thought. Like a talking point that I felt was interesting because it is a quarterback. I think it's fair to view the arm as explosive as well.
But he doesn't need to be a great passer of the football.
No,
at the collegiate level to have a lot of success. There's a lot of dudes that dominated college but can't get a sniff in the pros because they're not accurate enough.
Right.
So, like Jalen Milroe is dangerous, and so if you're Tennessee's defense, man, you really have to account for him. Go ahead.
And I just want to make the quick point. I'm glad you brought it up. I wanted to mention it at some point during the show. Is on those runs you mentioned Milroe outrunning Angles against Georgia's defense. Now, there has been some talk this year from people who know football better than me about Georgia's defense not being as quick as it has been in the past, but it's still like a really good defense. It's just not to the standard that we've seen from Kirby the last couple of years, and that is where Milroe is just the most lethal, is when he gets to the perimeter, and like what you're saying is when he is able to get to the perimeter and beat those Angles down the sideline. That's where Milroe is most dangerous. Tennessee is going to have to do a good job of defending those areas on the field. I know there's a priority to corral him, contain him, keep him in the pocket, as it should be, but inevitably he is going to get on the outside, and where he has hurt defenses the most with his legs has been on the sideline and been by trying to defeat those Angles that you mentioned. Tennessee's defense is going to have to do a really good job of defending Milroe's legs in those areas of the field, as much as they're going to have to do a good job of containing him and trying to keep him in the pocket. Because if you let him get to the sideline,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Because if he was a running back, he might be the best running back in college football behind Dylan Sampson and my man out there in Boise State. I mean, he could be a star running back as well, which is what makes him so explosive and so lethal, like you're saying. So Tennessee's going to have to do a good job of defending Milroe's running attack on the perimeter as much as they will kind of within the pocket and not letting him escape.
Let's get to the phones, 865-255-03. Good morning.
Yo, what it do, fellas?
What's going on, Tremel?
Not much, man. How y'all doing this morning?
We good. Hope you are too. What's on your mind?
Man, 20 to 80 something on third down is crazy. That's crazy. That's ridiculous.
12-18, Vanderbilt was. 7-15, South Carolina was.
No, I'm talking about you were talking about that was our defense, ain't it?
Yes, he's referring to Tennessee's third down stoppage rate.
Oh, yeah. But that's why the
Tennessee defense
is so
crazy. That's crazy, dog. That's ridiculous. Stop. Man, that's crazy. They get off the field at a high rate. I'm wondering what it's going to be. This game's going to be like. What our advantage is going to be this game. I mean, I think Hype was holding something back a little bit. I don't think he's sandbagging, but I think there's just the way he's been calling plays. I understand the offensive line's been kind of giving us issues, and I don't know if they're in shape or what the issue is, getting these costly penalties. But
you think Hype was holding something back?
No, I don't know if he's like the play calling as far as like changing something up for this week. No, I don't think he's sandbagging.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he's sandbagging, but I do think that
Hype will fight for his life.
Man,
Him and Hall fighting for their life calling plays, man, behind this offensive line blocking.
Man, it's terrible, bro. It's just like ugh. And I'm wondering. My thing is, what's on my mind is, has Nico maybe become a little? I mean, of course, it's naturally him becoming a little rattled, but do y'all think it's kind of happy because he seems so even keeled and you know what I'm saying type of person. You know what I'm saying when he's playing or when he's out there. That it seems like nothing really kind of gets him, which I love that about him, being able to be even killed as a quarterback. I don't want my quarterback turned up every time he throw a touchdown. I mean, I do want him turned, but I don't want him, like, overly. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I get you.
But do y'all think he's that the offensive line, do y'all think his clock is it, I don't know if it does that.
It's
mess with a quarterback for the remainder of the season, like I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, it's already halfway through the season, and his mindset is already where it is. Do you think that could be that changed? Is that the play calling that's going to help that, or I don't know? I'm just kind of wondering how a coach would kind of fix the game inside of the game between the ears for your quarterback when those things are going on. Because he's smart, he knows how to do things. He's just missing on a lot of passes that he normally don't miss on. You know what I'm saying? Those deep bombs that he missed on. You would think that even as young as he is, he don't miss those shots. So I don't know if that's the offensive line doing it to him or, you know what I'm saying? So I was just wondering if y'all could reiterate on that. Just like, do y'all think, what can the coach do to kind of help him along through this process? Because it's going to get, it's getting in the thick of everything. We win these next three, man. We sitting right pretty.
Yeah, Tremaine, I got you. We'll touch on that for sure, man. Good to hear from me. I mean, those deep passes against Florida, man, we're talking like an inch. I don't think people realize how hard it is to complete those balls. And sometimes you miss them. I mean, they're not like 5 yards behind or 5 yards, 10 yards ahead like we saw in 2001 with Joe Milton. Like, we're talking like an inch. Now, Jamel asked about what the coaches can do to help Nico. Because obviously he is affected by either the pass rush or looks he's getting in the secondary. He's affected, and he's not playing like he should. I think that is pretty clear. The film is the best way for Nico to improve. Showing Nico, hey, man, the pocket actually was cleaner than you thought it was. Or, hey, versus this blitz, with this play call, there's your fast option. There's your blitz reaction. There's someone you can go to quick. There's your hot route. Hey, you probably should have decided to run here. Like, that's the best way to correct those mistakes, because when you in the moment, man, it's really hard. Like, you may think you're doing something, but the eye in the sky tells you the truth. And so getting that reassurance, getting that confidence, that's going to come from the film. And then taking what you learned in film and then working on it on the football field. That's going to be the best way. And so Nico needs to play better. He needs to be able to make throws in the face of pressure. The great quarterbacks are still able to do that, but the great quarterbacks also can't block for themselves. They can't throw it to receivers when they're on their back. So there has to be a balance. You're going to get pressure sometimes, but too much pressure can obviously affect the quarterback and derail a game plan. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Jeff.
What's up, Jeff?
My question is, with the offensive line now, I personally feel like in the Florida game, they pass blocked a little bit better. Maybe not up to the standard that the fans want to see. My question is, when will we maybe see more quarterback design runs for Nico to kind of get away from that pass block some? Because there's been a ton of times in conference play, he'll drop back to pass the ball, and the pass protection is just giving up on him. Not really giving up on him, but, collapsing. When do y'all think we start seeing maybe more designed quarterback runs for him?
I feel like we saw 2 against Florida. Correct me if I'm wrong if you saw more than 2, but I feel like we saw 2, like design runs.
I'd like to see just a little bit more, like we've seen from Hooker in 2022. It seemed like with Hooker, they would call about 5 to 7 every game is what it seemed like. Do you think we could see that this year with the offensive line having the struggles it's had? Like from here going forward, I mean.
I'll be surprised if we're calling 5 to 7 a game, because you got to think about, you had Hendon, but then you had Joe as a backup, and you felt comfortable running Hendon earlier in the year, because that Florida game, and I used to be in those pre-production meetings on Fridays. Hypo would do those with TV, then he would do it with radio, and so I don't do them as much now, but I remember Golich, because Golich is real. He's really forthcoming. I mean, you can kind of tell the way he operates as a head coach of South Florida. He's just going to tell you how he feels. The bowl win, when they beat whoever, he was like, hey, we beat that ass, didn't we? That's Golich, right? And so he's a little bit more forthcoming than Halsley and Heupel. But he was like, hey, man, we not really trying to run Hendon like that. After that Florida game, he took a beating. He was barely able to walk off the football field. And you saw the design runs kind of decrease for Hendon after that Florida game in 22. It's weird that he got hurt in the one design run South Carolina game where he didn't even get hit. That just sucks. But I don't know how much more they're going to run Nico because of the backup quarterback situation. But I think you can't. I think you have to run him now. But I don't know if you're going to run him 5 to 7 times.
Do you think we see maybe more? Because I don't feel like we've seen enough of this. Do you think we see maybe more slants across the middle? Because like the little kid that was on TV the other night, just dancing away, they asked him in a radio interview the other day, if he could say one thing to Coach Heupel, what would it be? He said, open up the playbook. All we're seeing is wide receiver screens. Now, I have full, confidence in Coach Josh Heupel, but I would like to see the playbook opened up a little bit more instead of just running up the middle twice and then throw a deep ball if it ain't there. Or if you're not running up the middle, it's just a quick wide receiver screen. It can get frustrating as a fan.
Little kid basically telling us how his dad feels, because I'm sure he's heard that from his dad. I got a question. I'm not picking on you, but what all can we do with the offensive line blocking the way they blocked against Arkansas?
That's a very good point. There's really nothing you can do. I mean, yeah.
Well, the other thing is Josh Heupel's playbook. It's not the biggest playbook in the world either. I don't know that he's necessarily.
I think a lot of Tennessee fans got spoiled. I think a lot of us Tennessee fans were spoiled from the 2022 season, and I can honestly admit that. I got spoiled from the 2022 season. So going into 23 and this year, we're all expecting to see that, offense that can just put up a ton of points. And I know there's a lot of people sitting out there saying, bench Nico, put in Gaston Moore. And what a lot of them don't realize is that they go look at Peyton Manning's numbers in his first 7 games, starting. Nico's actually got better passing numbers than Peyton did. And look how well Peyton turned out. So I think people need to have a little bit more patience with Nico, because he will be great.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Bench
Nico? I've seen comments on some of the pages I follow on social media that have said literally to bench Nico and put Gaston Moore in.
That's dumb.
Yeah, I didn't agree. And then when I hit him with the stat about Nico's first 7 games as a starter and Peyton, I never got a reply back.
Yeah, that's dumb, man. That's dumb. But you make a really good point.
I'm going to let y'all go, but thank y'all for taking my call.
Hey, thank you. I mean, it's really good. It's a really good point about running Nico, but Like you're not making a change of quarterback. That's silly. The only time you make a change of quarterback is you see everybody doing their job, and the quarterback continues to be the one who can't do his, and he's holding the offense back. Like that's when you make a change of quarterback. But that's such a bad take. I can't, Ben. Go ahead.
To be fair, I have seen like a comment or two about benching Nico, but I think that is a very, 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 very small minority of people who actually think that. And if you do think that, you are off your rocker. I wanted to make a potential point about running Nico more. I'm totally with you in terms of you don't want to expose him to injury. I'm totally with you. But I guess to play devil's advocate a little bit, would this not be the game where you do risk it for the biscuit a little bit? Given
you got to win the game. You got to win the game, Ben. And like, I'm not saying don't run them. I'm just saying you got to be careful with the amount that you run them.
Yeah,
and he has to be careful with not taking unnecessary hits. Like, go pick up the first down, get down. Go pick up the first down, get out of bounds. Like, don't take unnecessary hits. And that's a trust thing. Like, you have to trust Nico that he's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm not at all saying 15, 20 runs a game or anything like crazy like that. But even the 5 to 7 number, I mean, in this game against Alabama, knowing what this would mean for your season, it would definitely 1,000% keep your college football playoff hopes alive. Like, in a sense, this is a playoff game. I mean, if you were going to run Nico a little bit more, like against Mississippi State, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, like you don't need to have the same mindset for this game or Georgia. Now, if you get into the fourth quarter and it's close and you feel like that gives you the best chance of winning those games, then maybe alter your mindset a little bit. But I think given the magnitude of this game, I think you maybe risk it more than you ordinarily would. And like I would be comfortable with 5 to 7 designed runs for Nico in this football game. And like, if he gets hurt, man, I mean, that's just kind of football. In this type of game against this opponent with everything on the line, I'd be willing to risk it a little bit more than I would against some of the other opponents they've played so far.
You haven't needed to run him 5 to 7 times. You didn't need him to run him in the Florida game. You didn't need to run him in the Arkansas game. That's the thing. Like, if you just execute what the play is, like, you don't have to run him. But when you run out of options because you're not executing the plays that are called, then it forces you to have to do something else. You don't want to get to that point. Just execute the game plan. And I thought the game plan was pretty good against Florida. We just didn't do a good job of executing it. Now, I'm okay with running Nico. I just think you need to be careful. That's all. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
What's up, Swain? What's up, Ben? It's Brian Hunsucker.
What's up, Hunsucker?
The previous caller mentioned running slants.
Yes.
There was a play in the game, I believe it was the third quarter. Aaron Carter had just had the interception, and Tennessee was facing 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6 in that area.
Yep.
Squirrels in the slot to the right.
Beautiful route.
And what's the route called?
It was a double move, but it wasn't a slant. But it was a beautiful route to the inside.
He put his foot in the ground and cut it back inside.
Ooh, it was pretty.
This play illustrates what I think the coaches are talking about, how it's not just the offensive line, it's not just the quarterback, it's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got the look they wanted. The middle linebacker blitzed, opened up the middle. Deshaun Bishop was in the game. He sees the middle linebacker, steps up, but completely whiffs. And Nico had to throw off his back foot because the linebacker was right in his face, and it was thrown too high.
Yep.
It's those small details.
Yep. That was game right
You
there,
had that,
Brian. That would have been
it
game.
was. Oh, it was 6.
Yeah, that would have been game.
You know, it's just those little things, and it's not just quarterback. It's not just the offensive line. It's so small. You know, we talked about, you've said the long pass to Squirrel, the long pass to Nimrod, those are inches. But, you know, that's a play. I think we've all been wanting to see that play. Mm-hmm. And they found the exact time to throw it, and just brings up those small details. But anyway, I appreciate it. I just wanted to throw that one in.
Hey, good stuff, Hunsucker. I'll throw this in there too. Leading up to the Florida game, was calling for Chris Brazzell to get more 50-50 ball opportunities. And he got one. He had a hell of a catch across the middle, absorbed contact, held on to the football. But instead of throwing that ball up to him in the fourth quarter, how about we take some shots with him earlier in the game? I think he needs about 3 or 4 per game. Man, the dude can jump out of the gym. He can jump out of the gym, and he's all of 6'5". All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Good morning. What's up, fam?
What's up?
Not much, man. Hey,
Rodney?
That's me.
All right, Rodney Nostell.
I don't call it that much, but hey, I keep hearing that the defenses are playing as either a shell defense or cover one with man. So if they recognize it in the shell, and that's the stuff that's bogging the offense down against Arkansas and stuff like that, as a wide receiver, what can you run to game them? They got to have a short game plan if that's what we're going to get. So what would you call? What type of plays would you call on that?
Man, they seem like they're sitting on the inside routes. We seem to be okay throwing those, I won't call them curls. They basically go up 10, 15 yards and come right back down their stem. But they're letting you throw it outside the numbers. And so I say continue to throw those, take what the defense is giving you. And then we saw in the Oklahoma game them cheat up when we went hitch. And then that's when you hit the double move with Brew McCoy. Now, Mike Matthews, although he wasn't in a lot in the second half, when he was in the first half, they had a shot play on a post route that would have been open if Nico had a split second more time. But those digs, man, unless we plan on going dig and go, we might need to hold off on them digs for a while because that seems to get Nico in trouble. Now, we hit Brazzell, we hit Squirrel on some crossing routes across the middle, but we just got to be careful. They're sitting in the middle because of our wide splits, and when you have those wide splits, I mean, it only gives you a few routes that you can run, and defenses are kind of, telling their DBs, hey, man, they can only run this. That's not to say that defenses have figured out the offense. That just means that we just got to be a little bit better and having patience when they're playing that shell coverage. And it's not a versus Tennessee offense thing. It's a football thing. Like, defenses are not letting offenses carve them up and hit big plays over the top. They're forcing you to throw underneath the sticks. They're forcing you to throw it in intermediate zones. They're forcing you to run the football. So you got to be able to run the football in a light box, which sometimes has gotten us in trouble too.
Yeah. You already. The other question I was going to ask you, I think you answered before I got on the phone. With Brazzell, the way he can jump, anytime we in the 20-yard line or 25-yard line, I'm throwing it up.
He can hop.
At least one.
He can hop.
At least one. So, especially when we got down there against Arkansas, I was like, "Hey, man, we right here. Throw it up. You can't cover vertical. If he can out jump everybody, just throw it up to him. Because does Nico not really possess that type of ball to place it up that high, or what is it?
He can.
Yeah. So I just want to ask that question. I'll get off here and listen.
Hey, thank you, man. Yeah, he can make that throw. We just gotta do it. All right, one more call before we take a break. Good morning.
What's going on, Swaino?
What's up, Buck Nasty?
Well, I was calling to tell you some things that I've witnessed over my lifetime here.
Oh.
I know around this house the tide only rolls once a month. And against Vanderbilt, it was spotting, and it rolled last week, so I believe she's all dried up coming this Saturday, son. You picking up what I'm putting down?
I'm trying not to.
Yay! Now, Swain, y'all was talking about the Vanderbilt game.
Yes.
And Vanderbilt won the time of possession, and they won the third down battle. But the one part I thought y'all was just fixing to talk about you didn't get to.
What's that?
The use of the tight ends against Alabama.
That was going to be my question, Buck Nasty, but Swain elected to turn to your phone call, which is a bold strategy at times. Instead of let me pose the question of where'd the tight ends go? I'd like to see more of them this weekend, Buck Nasty.
Man, I think their weakest part of their defense is their linebacker core, and there's a couple of different ways you can exploit the linebackers, and one's with the tight ends, one's with the running back. I'd like to see us go 12 personnel. A tight end is known to be a quarterback who's young and maybe a little inexperienced. I'd like to see us cram it down their throat for the first quarter and a half in 12 personnel only, and then maybe we hit them with some of the wide splits with Brazel and Squirrel. As much as I love Squirrel and everything, and him coming across the middle, it does worry me because he's such a little fella. He really is. And you have such a bigger target with a tight end that would be a mismatch like with Ethan Davis and more room for error for Nico. And that's all that I was wanting to talk about, was wondering if you think we'll get the tight ends a little more involved this week. Go Big Orange and to hell with Alabama.
I like it. Need to. I mean, Ethan Davis is a threat, man. He's a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. And, you know, right now we haven't put pressure on defenses by using him. Now, he did make some plays in the Florida game, but, man, he can make so much more. He really can. He's a big target. He can run routes like a wide receiver. And, you know, I know they've kind of gravitated towards Miles Kitzelman a lot in the past situations. And, hey, they got confidence in you, man, go make some plays. But Ethan Davis is the most athletic tight end from a passing standpoint. And Kitzelman's playing against his old team. So this will be a good game for the tight ends to be used a little bit better. Another point that both of y'all failed to mention was how about South Carolina throwing to the backs? They threw to the backs a lot. We got backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield. We got some backs that can make plays in space. Let's see our backs being used in the passing game, just like 2018 at Auburn. Backs won that one.
I believe we had this conversation last week, or we had it recently, about the backs being more involved in the passing game. I'm all for it. I'll just believe it when I see it. I think that's more of a decision to use the backs more in the passing game. Other than the shovel pass, which I would imagine Tennessee will break back out this weekend, because another hot topic amongst Alabama fans and Alabama media has been Alabama's inability to defend the shovel pass. And Lord knows Josh Heupel loves calling him some shovel passes. So I imagine we'll see that this weekend. And, of course, there's different variations of the shovel pass. What we've seen Tennessee utilize the tight ends in a little – it almost looks like a delayed option more than anything, just kind of a reverse option of sorts, kind of faking to the back out on the perimeter and then pitching it back to the tight end who's kind of delaying, allowing the defensive line to clear before they get it to him and potentially gain some yards down the field. So I would love to see Dylan Sampson get the football more any way possible. And that could be a potential way, but it just doesn't seem like a lot of those plays are called. Swain, am I wrong in feeling that way?
No, man, gotta have opportunities for sure. So,
well, and I like what you said earlier about getting the backs the ball. Point that out to Nico on film. Like, hey, if the protection collapsed, remember you got your guy hot out here in the flat. Just dump it off to him. Take what the defense is giving you.
We'll go back to the phones after a brief timeout. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Stay with us.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
You don't say.
Fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. Thank goodness it's football time in Tennessee. When the Vols do well, Knoxville does too. There are so many great reasons to fall in love with East Tennessee, and if you're making a move to the area, I'd love to help you find your new home. Just give me a call at 865-694-5904 or check out my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Fellas, there's a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and go to a provider that you can trust. I recommend Low T Center. It's where I get my levels checked. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and you'll get your results back in about 25 minutes. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, have noticed weight gain, loss of muscle mass, you may have low T levels. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Chevy truck season at Beatty Chevrolet means save on a new 24 Chevy Silverado 1500. Now $10,000 off MSRP. Plus 1.9% APR financing. Plus no payments for 90 days at Beatty Chevrolet in Knoxville.
Just because you can't call in doesn't mean that you have to sit on the sideline. Impact the show with a text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
All right, Swain Event, welcome back. We are fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Let's go back to the phones, 865-255-03. Good morning.
Morning.
What's up? Who we speaking
Hub
with?
City.
Hub City, my man. It was good to see you over the weekend.
It was, man. It was a great day. It was. We're looking forward to this weekend. I was just going to ask, do you think that we will see more of the Nico rollouts? He seems very comfortable passing out of that. And I'm a little terrified of him running 5 to 7 games myself. He appears very, very thin.
The rollouts could be built-in runs if there's nothing available, allowing him to make quick reads, quick decisions. Hey, man, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. If you can't hit anybody on those 1 or 2 reads, tuck it and run. And I like the rollouts. I like the half rollouts where we try to hit square right on one of those half rollouts. I anticipate seeing more of that. I think that plays to Nico's strengths.
Good. Yeah, I agree with that. I was kind of hoping Trey Smith may go put some pads on and sneak out there on the offensive line last week when he was in town.
Yeah, I don't know if he can sneak out there because he would have blown people up to the sidelines, crushing folks. But, man, hey, I was looking at David Sanders, seeing if he can sneak on the field.
Oh, man. All right, fellas, y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all this weekend.
See you, man. Be safe. It was good to see Hub City over the weekend. Yeah, David Sanders Jr. right there just in the recruiting section. I want to slip him some pads and a jersey and a helmet. Get on out there. Come on. Get on. Just walk down the steps. Go back to the locker room. The equipment managers, they already got your jersey and your cleats set up. Just go ahead. Be all right. You don't have to know the plays. Just block the dude in front of you. That's all, man. That's all you got to do. 865-255-03. All right, let me hit this Beatty Chevrolet text box. Vol in Birmingham, we should beat Bama if our DBs can match up and not get beat deep and keep Milroe in the pocket. He throws a lot of 50-50 balls up, so it will be our DBs versus their receiver going up for it. Both teams I seen ran option plays and hurt Bama on third downs. Well, we do option plays. We just got to make sure we read it right from our quarterback and our pass catchers. Raleigh Vol says D-Samp, 11.5 receiving yards, or I'm assuming that is yards per reception. I'll take that to the bank. Any idea why we don't run or running back screens? Was watching a game on ESPN2 last night, and a team ran a perfectly executed screen for 30 yards. I know our running backs are capable of doing that. and I feel like our O-line is athletic enough to get moving and get those blocks downfield, or am I wrong? Yeah, Ben, I mean, you mentioned it before the break. I mean, we do those show passes. We do a different variation of a running back screen to try to get the running backs in space. But, man, it will be good to, and it's not like Alabama's defensive line is like South Carolina's either. And so I know Florida's defense wasn't all that great, and they were able to get some penetration. But we're not dealing with the 2009 Alabama defense, 2014 Alabama defense. I mean, they're good, but and listen, they may be a matchup problem for our offensive line in this game, and they may get some penetration. We may have to whip out the tight end screens and more screens to our running back. But I've always been a fan of the screens. It always helps the pass rush there. Tramel from chat says, as long as he slides, unlike Will Hellman's Levis. Titans fans, I'm gonna help you out. We're gonna try to not talk about Will Levis. Just gonna help you out, okay? Just gonna help you out. Because everybody was scratching their head on that pick. That's a situation where the fan base was smarter than the GM on that one. All right. So here's another one. Double J says the Titans need to bench their quarterback, not the Vols. Vol Birmingham says quick slants. You got the look against Oklahoma. You got the look you wanted against Oklahoma. I don't know if we got those looks for quick slants against Florida. I'm not saying we didn't. I'm just saying I didn't see it in real time. Like I didn't say to myself, damn, that was opportunity for a slant. The pass to Nimrod was pretty bad. Are we talking about the deep pass when Nimrod was grabbed a little bit? They didn't call it. I didn't think it was bad. Man, he could have been thrown a little bit better, but Nimrod was about to run under that thing. Yeah, the DB grasp for Nimrod, made contact with the shoulder pad. It was definitely pass interference. It would have been ticky-tacky, but the DB was attempting to interfere. Like, he was willing to take that 15-yard penalty because he was beat.
Because he thought he was going to give up the touchdown. Exactly. My hot take today is the Nimrod throw that I did not like was the one when Tennessee had the football trying to get in field goal range under 30, 45 seconds. And everybody was crushing Nimrod for the drop. And it was a drop. But I was standing in the north end zone, so I didn't have great depth perception. I couldn't tell whether it was a slant or a post there. It was the play before Brew and Nimrod were kind of in the same area. A little confusion there. Yeah, it looked like I assume the spacing or
somebody ran a run route.
Yeah, or it also kind of looked like Nico was throwing the Brew and Nimrod thought it was behind him, so tried to reach back and get it. But the throw that I'm referencing was the play before that where Nico had Nimrod over the middle of the field. And Nimrod did get both hands on it. I'm not saying he's without blame, but I felt like if Nico hits him in stride, it's a walk-in, walk-off touchdown. Oh, yeah. That was the throw that I was like, yes, Nimrod dropped it, but man, if he would have hit him in the money, hit him on the money in stride, that would have been a walk-in touchdown to win the game.
I was like, dang, man, you gonna hit him in the money?
Yeah, right there.
That's gonna hurt.
In his hands, baby. That's what I'm referring to.
Oh, okay. Dang, man, hit him in the money.
My fault. You know I can't speak.
Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. That would hurt. Ouch. Do I think Nico is struggling to adjust to the speed of the SEC? I think that's something. I think it's part of it. Yeah, I think it's part of it.
Everybody forgets that he's a young, inexperienced quarterback. I mean, everybody goes through growing pains, and Has it been disappointing? Yes. But I also think that expectations were just sky high, and he was almost built up as some myth, some legend, some folk hero that he was just going to come in and light the world on fire. And he's not as far along as even I expected, but I think there just needs to be some context. People need to remember the context of, like, nobody walks onto the football field and it just clicks as a young player at that position in this league. There are growing pains that we referenced over the course of the offseason, and we're seeing those growing pains. I think we all still believe, at least I'll speak for you and I, that Nico is going to be a very, very, very good quarterback. It's just he's going through some growing pains right now, and it wasn't going to be lights out all the time for a redshirt freshman as a first-time starting quarterback, and I think some people are forgetting that.
Yeah, there's not a quarterback in the country right now that lit the world on fire their first year playing versus top-tier competition. I mean, everyone.
No, Jalen Milroe got benched for a lacrosse player last year at USF. Last year, Jalen Milroe got benched.
Well, and that wasn't even Jalen Milroe's first year. I mean, his first year.
I think that was his first full year as a starter, because that was.
I understand, but remember, he was told by Bill O'Brien.
Yes.
You need to play receiver if you want to get on the field.
Yeah, you're right. I was more so making the point of, like, first time being the starting quarterback.
Yeah, and then you look at Quentin Ewers, who transferred from Ohio State to Texas. You look at Dylan Gabriel. He didn't burst on the scene being a Heisman Trophy candidate. Carson Beck took him forever to get on the football field. So it takes time. Like, my stance on Nico has not changed. He is a special talent. He needs to play a little bit better. He needs more help around him. And I'm not moving off that stance. If I see something different, then I may. But I have not seen. Well, my eyes, that is my take. Vol from Charlotte says, I went to watch David Sanders play last week. He's a freak athlete. Use him in motion as a tackle. Can really man up. Maybe as good as a defensive end as he is as a tackle. Oh, yeah. Really good player. Really good player. Hopefully he can get here quick as possible. Halloween is going to be here quick. And it's spooky season. This month, it is all treats and no tricks with my friends at Hiller. And during their Spooky Good Fall giveaway, you can get a free Blackstone griddle, Solo stove, or Yeti Tundra cooler with select home upgrades. Or you can enjoy $99 specials like an HVAC tune-up. You can visit the website for all the details. That is happyhiller.com. Vol in Birmingham, a win Saturday would be massive win for the fan base and a huge confidence booster for the O-line and Nico. Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's get back to the phones. Good morning.
Morning. What's up, Swain?
What's going on, man? Who are we speaking with this morning?
This is Caleb, man.
What's up, Caleb?
How you guys been?
Oh, we good. We good, man. Hope you are too.
It's the first time I got to call in this year. Called in a couple times last year, and I've been on this night shift, so thank God I'm back on the days. But listen, man, I understand that people are criticizing Nico. I mean, I've heard it a lot, but I mean, the guy is a redshirt freshman. I mean, he's got a lot of learning to do, sure. The guy is clearly the best quarterback on the team. Like, I don't understand why anybody thinks it to be otherwise. But my thing is, man, is that offensive line, that right side especially, to me, and I mean, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but it's atrocious. Sometimes we're in pass protection when we're running it, and then we vice versa. Like, we'll be running it and we're in pass, or we'll be passing and we're in rush block, like getting illegal men downfield and stuff. Like, for me, that right side of the line, and you know this, Swain, I mean, you play for former, man. Like, if you don't have a line of scrimmage that can control the ball game, especially an offensive line, everything else it's just going to make everything else look way worse. You know, like, because you're not allowing the quarterback or the wide receivers that much time to get on the same page. Like, and I'm not saying that they don't deserve criticism. I'm just saying from what my eyes see, that offensive line is the biggest problem that we have. And if I'm wrong, y'all let me know. I hope y'all have a good day, man. And, it's Hate Bama week. I don't care about Bama at all. I'm from Tennessee, so let's go Big Orange, and I'll hang up and listen.
Let's go. No, I don't disagree with you. They're not the only issue, but it's the biggest issue, if that makes sense. They ain't the only, but it's the biggest. 865-255-03. No team wins a championship without an elite offensive line. Camden, Tennessee Vault hit the nail on the head. Kind of hard to win. You don't have guys up front that can move bodies. I don't care what offense you play. Triple option, wing T, spread, flex, up tempo, air raid. It don't matter. You got to have better play from your offensive line. But if you are on this defensive line, man, you put this game on your shoulders. You said, we know what we got to do. We got to take over this game. We have to dominate this game. You go look at what South Carolina was able to do versus Alabama, and you say, we got to do that. We might have to do more, and we're prepared to do more. But we got to do that. 3 or 4 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. Like, we got to do that. We got to create some turnovers. Like, y'all know I'm a Bears fan. And one thing that the Bears defense does better than anybody else is that they punt. You better fix your damn face, Ben. I don't know what's wrong with your face. You better fix your face. I ain't even made my point. And my point is right. My point is right.
Just hard for me to envision. Without even knowing what you're going to say, just hard for me to envision the Bears defense doing something better than anybody in the league.
You better fix your face, man.
Look,
like I was about to say before I was rudely interrupted.
I'm an honorary BFL. I'm an honorary Bear for life as long as Corey Blasingame is there.
You better fix your face, son.
I want the Bears to win every game they play that isn't against the Steelers. So I'm Team Bears, baby. I'll paint my nails with Caleb Williams.
I know Anita raised you better to interrupt somebody while they talk. I know you got better manners than that, Ben.
I wasn't interrupting. You brought me into the conversation.
Your facial expressions interrupted my point. Like I was saying, the Bears defense is better than everybody else in the league when it comes to punching the football. Punching at the football, making tackles. They generate turnovers. The stats are the stats, Ben. You can look it up. Bears one of the best teams in the league at generating turnovers, punching at the football. They did it last week versus Jacksonville with Evan Ingram, punching at the football. This is a Peanut Tillman staple. The peanut punch that's been carried from generation to generation. I want to see us do more of that, man. I want to see us punching more at the football, generate turnovers. I think you're going to have to generate some on Saturday.
You done?
I'm taking a break. What you got?
You didn't watch TJ Watt play this weekend, did you?
Oh, my gosh.
You didn't watch the best defensive player in the league who should have won the Defensive Player of the Year last year, Peanut Tillman the football twice against the Las Vegas Raiders. And I don't care if it's just one guy. He is the entire Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Go look at the win-loss record with him on the field and with him off the field. He is the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So the Bears can take their second place participation trophy and take it home with them. But yes, I would like to see Tennessee do more of that. I did want to make the point earlier. I had 2 defensive points I wanted to make earlier when you mentioned Tim Banks. Give Tim Banks a check today, right now. Go ahead and sign him to a contract extension in the middle of the season. Yes, don't shake your head no at me. Yes, do it.
He about to be a head coach.
Do it.
Don't waste it. He about to be a head coach. Don't waste
he is about to be a head coach. But pay the man his money. He deserves more money than he is making.
He about to go, man. He about to be a head coach, man.
I think he will be a head coach, but we don't know that for sure. I think he's going to be a head. Excuse me, still dealing with the cough. I think he is going to be a head coach. There were also some big time SEC programs that pursued him last offseason that kind of flew under the radar that people don't know about. either to be the defense coordinator, and they were willing to pay him more money than what Tennessee is paying him. So, if the off chance that it happens, plays out like it did last offseason, and for some strange reason, look, I'm stunned that Josh Elander's still at Tennessee. Okay, I thought he'd get a head coaching job too. You just never know. Go ahead and pay Tim Banks, and if he leaves, he leaves. Then you get to take your money back. Get your buyout in there. The other thing you and I mentioned on Tuesday, kind of pondering to ourselves whether or not we thought Ricky Gibson or Jamal McCoy would follow Ryan Williams around. I don't anticipate that happening. Do you? That's just not this. It's not Tim Banks' MO. It's not this team's MO. I think Ricky Gibson going to play his side of the field. I think Jamal McCoy is going to play his side of the field. And probably best, because everybody talks about Ryan Williams, Alabama does have several good receivers that are capable of beating you if you're not prepared for them.
Yeah. So, I think if you put McCoy on Williams, you're telling Ricky Gibson that you don't trust him. So, I think you play straight up, start the game, and let everybody prove that they can handle themselves without getting help. That's probably how I would play that. K-Dog says, Ben, fix your face.
I will when Swain fixes his takes.
Crazy, man. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's up, Turkey Man?
Hey, do you know Ryan Williams is 17?
I thought he was just born like 4 weeks ago.
How many times that going to be mentioned
I think he's a newborn baby.
What Ben say?
No, he didn't say anything. I said, I heard that he was a newborn baby.
Yeah. Well, I just wondered about that, and I know there'll be smoke after this game, cigar smoke in Neyland. Touchdown or turnover, which team's gonna be smoking?
I don't know, Turkey Man. I don't know who's gonna win this game. I'm 50-50 on it right now.
Yeah, it's about 50-50, ain't it?
Yeah, I'm 50-50 on the game.
Well, I just wanted to give you a shout, guys. It's third week in October, and by the way, Byron Bryant never won a game against General Neyland, and I don't think they won a game against Swain, did they? Did Alabama? You undefeated against Alabama? Okay, well, that's better than some.
That's better than a lot of people.
We're going for our 40th win against Bama this game, and we hold the most wins of any against them. So, that's a little tidbit. I'll get out of here, guys. I'll see you, buddy.
Joe Neyland 5-0 versus the Bear. They did tie twice, but
General Neyland taught the Bear everything he knows about football.
That's what they say. That's what they say. So, it's hard to watch the offensive plays from the 22 team and all the creativity they did. I know Fant was a huge part, and we don't have a player like him. I know we can be creative. We need Heupel to bring back that creativity this weekend. Hey, man. AJ, you can go look at all those highlights from the 22 season in that Bama game. Did you notice anything about them highlights that stood out? Because I did. I noticed how much time Henry had in the pocket. That's what I noticed. And I noticed Hendon was damn near 32 years old out there for Tennessee. So I think we saw some wrinkles with the offense last week. Need to see more wrinkles. You know, Halsley, Heupel, you certainly want to see more. And I hate saying the same thing about the creativity being affected by the offensive line, but I think it would be unfair to continue to throw Heupel under the bus and question his aggressiveness and his creativity when he has proven that he has it. But it's hard to have it when you don't have the protection. So they got to find it, man. They need, and Heupel's not someone that throws his players under the bus. Like, I'm sorry, y'all, but Heupel's press conferences are not the most exciting. Okay? And he knows it, and everyone knows it. But one thing he does a great job of is he protects his players. That's a big reason why the culture has shifted here in Tennessee in the last couple of years. And sometimes the hype or the description of play with some players have been a little too inflated. Oh, y'all want an example? Y'all remember what was said about the tight end, Emmanuel Okoye, last year? Okay. So, like, this staff
doesn't even play tight end anymore.
Yeah, like this staff can sometimes go a little overboard with the positivity and putting players in a position where people are expecting more of that player because of how positive the coaches are. And listen, that ain't a bad thing. That's just reality. It's a good thing. It's been part of the reasons why the program has went through this shift. Okay? I say all that to say, Heupel even said in the last couple of days, hey, man, dudes need to execute. Dudes need to execute. Like, that's the first time Heupel's done that in a long time. After the Arkansas game, he said, that's on me. Florida game, he was like, guys gotta execute, man. You gotta execute. And then, you know, it takes a guy like Cole Kublik that has a lot of respect covering the conference, that has the resources to the all-22 angle, that can see every angle, and he's telling y'all the same thing. Like, it's not a scheme problem. It's an execution problem. It ain't the plays. You guys gotta execute better. So that's on both sides
this weekend.
I'm sure Alabama coaches are telling their players, hey, you got to execute better. We know the stuff that we're calling is working. Y'all got to execute the stuff that we're calling better. And whoever does that the best will be the team that wins. Amazing golf ball whacker. So tired of running back draws on third long. Why do we keep doing that? Because it's smart. When you have a holding call, that drive is over. That drive is over. Let's say it's second down and 10, and you have a holding call. It's a wrap. How you picking up 20 yards like that? You're sending a signal to the defense that we're going 5 and 7 step drop. Come rush us. And you look at the Oklahoma game. You want to protect your quarterback. You want to protect the ball. And you have a defense that can make stops. So there's nothing wrong with playing field position when you have a good defense. But you got offensive linemen who are holding. Now, if it's 3rd and 9 and you're backed up at your own 10-yard line, come on, y'all. You gotta be conservative. You don't want to be Florida when they were backed up inside their own 10, throw a pick. Arion Carter gets a pick. We in perfect situation on third down. Brown Hunsucker called in and laid it out perfectly. Squirrel White was on a great route. Made a great move to the inside, wide open. Nico threw a little high because of the pressure that was in his face. That game would have been over. That would have been, 24-10? The crowd's back in it. Freshman quarterback, that thing would have been over right there. But you saw Florida make a mistake, backed up, because they were trying to be aggressive. But they don't have a defense like ours. So there are times when the smart move is to play chess and go, okay, let's say you drive the ball 60 yards on our defense. Instead of giving the ball to the offense like we did versus Oklahoma, first and on the 3-yard line because of a sack fumble, then and you punt it away. So if you're so tired of running back draws on third long, guess what else you need to be tired of? The damn offensive lineman holding and setting us back in 3rd and 20, 2nd and 20, 1st and 20. Because if you get that, you can count on that possession being over. More times than not, offense coordinator, head coach is going to punt on that possession. More times than not, it's the right move. It's the smart move. Is Jermon McCoy the best corner Ryan Williams will have played against? I don't know who is ranked ahead of Jermon McCoy according to Pro Football Focus, but he is 4th in coverage rankings. I'm pretty sure Georgia has some really good DBs, but Jermon McCoy is playing lights out right now. So I'm willing to say I doubt there's anyone better than Jermon McCoy that Bama has played up to this point. I'm willing to say that. AlphaWildlife.com is the website. Homeowners, if you are experiencing some issues with wildlife, it could be raccoons, it could be bats, squirrels, they have invaded your home. Well, Alpha Wildlife now not only removes the issue, but they fix the issue so they don't come back. That is alphawildlife.com. That is the website. They serve areas in Tennessee, South Carolina. Go to the website, find the nearest location to you, and remove the issue quick, fast. They do it the right way. I have used Alpha Wildlife. I've had them here removing a raccoon. Who has the advantage, Coach Inge or DeBoer? Inge was the linebackers coach at Washington in a brief moment at Alabama. I wouldn't even mention that little moment at Alabama. I don't think that really matters. But Chip, I'll tell you this. Nick Sheridan was the tight ends coach at Washington, while Inge was the linebacker coach. I'm sure those guys went up against each other a lot in practice. Inge knows what DeBoer likes to do. Nick Sheridan is his own man. He's his own coordinator. I don't know how much influence DeBoer has on Nick Sheridan. I would assume he has a good amount. But, yeah, I think there's some familiarity there. I wouldn't say that, like, DeBoer has the advantage on Inge in this situation. I would say the fact that Inge may know some tendencies from DeBoer may play into the favor of Tennessee. He is without Keenan Peely. So, and those linebackers have to go up against Jalen Milroe in some situations. And that's a mismatch for Tennessee, more times than not. But all it takes is one good performance, and we're capable of doing that. We are capable of doing that. Since Alabama has a poor defense, will you see a lot of man coverage like Florida ran? I think it depends on how we run the football. If Alabama's able to roll with the light box and stop the run, then we're going to be in trouble. But if they have to load the box because they're running the ball well, then we're going to see some man. And when we see that, it's time for us to win matchups on the outside. Who got cooked versus Arkansas? You talking about McCoy? Yeah, I mean, it was some really good throws that was made.
Yeah, and I don't think that McCoy got cooked against Arkansas. I thought he was just kind of had some bad luck. I mean, I thought he had it is possible for defensive backs to play great coverage and still get beat. And that's just kind of the nature of the position. I thought McCoy maybe didn't play perfect football, but I thought there were several throws where he was on the receiver's hip in great coverage, and Taylor Green just put the ball on the money, and the receiver made a heck of a catch on the sideline or something along those lines. I thought it was more just bad luck for a DB for McCoy in that Arkansas game than him playing poorly.
Yeah, you can't say that.
I can't say that?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
If you guard the dude and the dude has 7, 8, 9 catches for 130 yards, it ain't. You got cooked.
What were they all against McCoy?
I mean, more than half of it was.
And I said I don't think that he played perfectly, but I thought there were a handful of throws in there to where he had pinned the receiver to the sideline, was on his hip. Maybe a defensive backs coach would make the coaching point of turn your head and try and make a play on the ball. But I thought he was in good coverage for several of those. I thought he was in great coverage for several of those throws, and the quarterback and receiver just made a better play.
You can have perfect coverage and still get cooked. If the dude you guarding is catching the ball and making plays, I mean, like as a DB, you're responsible from stopping this dude from catching it, right? And if he's catching it, whether it's perfect passes or what, you kind of got cooked. But it happens. It's going to happen to every DB. It happens to the best DBs sometime. And like I told McCoy personally, I said, "Hey man, bro, you was in great position." I said the same thing you said to him. You was in good position. Those are just some great throws, and perfect throws beat perfect coverage every time. But to say he didn't get cooked,
I'm not. You can call me soft or whatever. I'm not going to say somebody got cooked when you just said the same exact thing that I said about how Jamal McCoy.
But you're denying that he got cooked. I'm not, because the dude that he was guarding had 130 yards receiving, Ben.
I just kind of think, to me, I chalk it up as more the nature of the position. That's all.
Okay. Say so.
Hey, but I don't know football. I don't have football IQ. I don't know football.
Man, don't do that. Don't get sensitive.
I'm not being sensitive. I'm messing around.
Golf Vol Whacker guy. Hey man, you gotta change your name on here. There's too much going on. You fellas got your cigars ready. GBO. I need to go get mine. Cause Jabari Davis sold out. He ain't say your boy won. So I have to go get mine somewhere else. Which is all good. It's all good. It don't have to be a VFL cigar. As long as it's a cigar, I'm good. Nelson from Jackson says, how do you think Bama will attack us? Same way Oklahoma and Arkansas and Florida tried to. I mean, just say amazing. I'm not calling you amazing. I don't know you like that. I call Jennifer Morris amazing because I know Jennifer. But I'm going to call you Whacker Guy. How about that? Amazing Whacker Guy. That's what I call you. There it is. Nelson says, I still got my cigar, Swain. Nelson had a cigar from 2022, didn't smoke it. He still has it. Way to go, Nelson. You got a cigar that you're not going to smoke. What's the point of having a cigar this week? What's the point? K-Dog says Tennessee by 9 points Saturday. Big Shot Rob starting stuff.
He's wrong just like you are.
All right, man. You say so. Dude, you guarding. Puts up 130 yards. It's not getting cooked. Okay.
He was credited for 73 of the yards.
Puts up 20 points. The guy got cooked.
Jamar was credited for 73 of the yards per PFF.
Okay. My point remains.
No, I'm not sharing that to. I'm just sharing that as more context. That's all. He was targeted 7 times, gave up 5 catches for 73 yards, 14 yards a catch. Just adding context to the conversation, nothing more.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you doing that because that makes me feel even better about my stance. And you dude is still the 4th.
You want to look at cooked? Arion Carter got cooked in coverage in the Arkansas game.
Yeah, both of them got cooked in coverage in the Arkansas game. It's not one or the other. It's both. One was more severe than the other, but both of them didn't have a great day in coverage. Make sure that smoke gets to McElroy in the booth. I told McElroy Tuesday I was going to give him a big hug. He tried to be slick in his questioning. He asked me what the response will be if Tennessee loses.
It's the Greg McElroy way. Tennessee is the only fan base that loses its mind uncontrollably if something bad happens. It's only Tennessee fans. It's only Tennessee people that are just absurd human beings if something does not go their way. Never mind the fact that somebody in Alabama's fan base burned down a tree, killed a tree at its rival school. Never mind the fact that his alma mater is complaining about what the coach is wearing on the sideline. Tennessee's fan base, the University of Tennessee, people in Knoxville, people in the state of Tennessee, they're the only people that lose their mind. They're the only fan base that loses its mind when something does not go its way in the eyes of Greg McElroy.
That's a tough position to be in, man. I will give him some grace. But at the same time, I'm not going to disagree with you either. Because my reaction was, damn, what do you think the reaction going to be? Going to be pissed
The
off.
reaction's going to be Tennessee losing. The reaction will be the same if Alabama's losing.
No, I said the reaction will be, Tennessee fans will be pissed off. And it'll be the same reaction Bama fans had when they lost to Vanderbilt. I mean,
both fan bases are going to have the same reaction with whoever loses this weekend.
Like this,
one of the fan bases is going to be very, very upset.
Yeah, like this Bama team ain't all that good. So it'd be one thing if you had Tua throwing to all those damn receivers and you had a unstoppable force, had to tackle Derrick Henry and all that. This ain't that Bama team. And if you lose to that type of Bama team, okay, well, I mean, hey, you lost to a good team. Nah, man, we're not going to be on that. We're going to be upset because Tennessee and Bama are evenly matched. Evenly matched. I told Greg I was going to give him a hug, though. If we win, how many spots will Bama be ahead of us in the polls? Oh, man. They'll put us at 7 and put Bama at 6. I guess that means Bama will move up in the polls, too. Oh, man. Oh, man. Chip Payne says, don't kick to the punt returner, please. Too many players out of position on punt return coverage. I'm okay with us kicking to the punt return. I mean, we've done a great job most of the time really like 95% of the time. Florida was the worst punt coverage game in the Josh Heupel era. It was. My point was last week, the offense was struggling. Freshman quarterback. You picked him off. The punt returner just had a 30-yard return. You're kicking backed up. Don't let them return it for any yardage. Kick it out of bounds. In that position, that situation, don't kick it to them. That's all I'm saying. That was my biggest gripe. But for the most part, 95% of the time, we do a really good job covering punts. All right, let's get one more phone call in here. Good morning. Never mind. Let's see. If Bama loses, will they be trying to fire their coach? They tried to fire him at the Vanderbilt game. There were some fans, some small, loud minority, just like folks are doing that to Heupel at the Arkansas game. But Nelson has his cigar, though. But I need to get my cigar ready. I'll be doing that tomorrow. In 2022, we can line up and run the ball. Can't do that this year. Changes the defense scheme. And Dylan Sampson still has 15 touchdowns, which is insane. He's insane. And he's going to have to be great. Nico has to be better. Nico will have to play his best game for Tennessee to win, I think. Is he capable of doing it? Yes, he is. He just needs to go do it. He needs to go do it. Receivers will have to play their best game. Offense will have to play their best game. But you can't put a ton of pressure on the defense week in and week out. So, all right, Ben, you got your score prediction?
Nope.
You scared, ain't you?
No, I just don't. I mean, I think I'm going to pick Tennessee to win just because it's at home. I think if it were in Tuscaloosa, I would pick Alabama to win. I don't trust Tennessee's offense one bit. I don't trust Alabama's defense one bit. I trust Tennessee's defense. I don't know that I trust the offense to help them out. So, but I think that maybe the difference in this game is Neyland Stadium and the effect that is going to have on the Alabama offense, which I believe somebody mentioned on the text box earlier. Milroe has not played great football away from Bryant-Denny Stadium throughout his career. So I think that's the difference maker for Tennessee in a close football game, 27-14, 28-27, something like that. It's just hard to win on the road in college football, what we're seeing now more than ever. So I think, again, if this game was played in Tuscaloosa, I'd probably pick Alabama. And since it's played in Knoxville, I'm going to pick Tennessee to win. And it's the old coaching cliche of whoever executes better wins the game. Like I truly believe, as simple and as Captain Obvious as that is, like I think that's what it's going to boil down to. Because like you just said a moment ago, these two teams are evenly matched, and it's just going to boil down to whoever executes better on Saturday, because teams are capable of beating the other. Jennifer Morris always execute her game plan. She works with Tennessee baseball players, basketball players, football players. She's worked with several members of the Swain Event family, including my family. She's the absolute best in the real estate market here in Knoxville. And as you're making your way into town, or as you're envisioning yourself move to Knoxville, I encourage you to reach out to Jennifer Morris of Keller Williams Realty. Or if you're already in Knoxville and you have other real estate aspirations, she can help you in any way possible. So please reach out to her for all of your real estate needs.
Love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Got another drill Monday. We back talking about a win. We hope. We hope. It's going to be epic, ladies and gentlemen. Tennessee, Alabama, 3:30. Legends are made during this game. We're looking for a legendary performance Tennessee to come out with the dub. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain. The Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, live from the Low T Center studio. Good luck to the Yankees. Ben, you don't want us to root for your Yankees? You don't want us to say good luck?
I just don't believe that was a genuine good luck. You probably got a Cleveland jersey on in behind you. I'm messing with you. I appreciate it. We need it. I'm sure they'll choke somehow.
I did call for the Yankees Dodgers to play the World Series, so I do like.
Yeah, Major League Baseball would love that if that happened.
Yeah, I'm going for the Yankees, going for the Dodgers. I want to see it. So we'll be back on Tuesday, same time, 8 a.m. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Peace and love. We're out.